G'day folks, Ben from Snows here. Today I'm talking through how to pack up a self-inflating mat like this and get it back in a storage bag. There's all sorts of different types of inflating mats on the market. These are all bonded ones here. There's different valves, but they all have a similar concept in that they all pack up small and go back into the bag. So the general construction of these mats, or the ones I've got here today, are a foam, which is quite often cored. So down through the middle here, there's cores that are drilled out to allow the foam to pack up smaller. And this exterior is bonded to the foam inside. There are slight variations on that, in which is kind of like a bit of foam stuck inside an outer. If you blew it up too much, it would kind of balloon up. They're much sort of heavier, firmer sort of mats, but the ones I'm showing you today are these self-inflating ones, but the same principle can be applied to any foam mat with a valve, or even any foam mat really. Now this is the mat I'm going to show you how to pack up shortly, and they've all got slightly different valves. You can see this has got a little reversible valve here. This is a camping mat, 10 centimeter thick camping mat. If we have a look over here, I've got a slightly thinner hiking style mat. Same concept with the valves here though. It's got both an inflate and a deflate feature on the valve here. This one here, same as the one we had before, only the valve is in the corner. Below that again, another cedar summit mat with a little reversible valve here. Once again, both inflate and deflate. Expert have got inflate on one side and deflate on the other. And then this is a nice big thick 15 centimeter mat here. Same principle applies, and it's got the little reversible valve in there. So the principle of packing all these up is the same. The only exception with this pile of mats here, and the one I've got stacked at the back here, is that's a double. So any double mat that you've got, you're probably going to need to fold in half first and then follow the procedure that I'm going to show you on this mat here. Now some of these mats you're going to find roll up easier than others. The expert, this is a Empire mat, sorry, here, and it's got quite firm foam inside of it without big cores in the middle, so it requires a little bit more muscle to roll it up. But there are benefits to that in that it's probably offers a little bit more comfort without the extra foam. If we just have a quick look down at some of these, again, this blue one here, they've got, this is a cedar summit mat. They kind of cut triangles out here, so there's less foam inside that, which means it packs up a little bit easier, but that's a bit more technology that goes into the mat, and it does end up costing more, so it's a bit of a balance between how easy it is to pack up and how thick it is when it's set up, sorry. But as I mentioned, the same concept is the same. You gotta get this guy here back in this bag here. So step number one is to come to the valve at the end here. Now what we want to do is flick this around. Now some mats may not have a valve, most mats nowadays do. So this has got a little rubber seal on here. You can see, you can flick that open. The idea here is that when it's around this way, it's going to allow the air to come out this way but not suck back in. If I wanted to inflate the mat, I flick this around. That allows the air to suck back in and not push out. So when we're packing it up, we want to be squashing air out. So we're going to be reversing this valve around so that the air only comes out. Why we do that will make sense in a second, because what we want to do is roll this up a few times. Rarely will you roll it up once and get it as small as you need. So for the first time you do it, just fold it loosely and squeeze as much air out as you can. If you have a double mat, so much easier to have a second person or get your kids to line it to squash the air out while you're doing it. So squash the air out, you can hear the air coming out. Possibly even for this first lot, just open the valve completely so you get right to the end. Squash all the air out. So at this point here, we want to make sure before we unroll this that we just flick this valve around so that it's not going to let the air back in. Now if we have a look at where this mat's at now, you can hear I've got off that, there's no air sucking back in. It probably will very slowly over time, but we're clearly not going to get that back in this bag here. It's just not going to happen. So we need to roll it again to squeeze out more air. So if we unroll this, now if you do have a mat without the little valve on the end, I'm not sure how you do it, you just have to work really quickly. If we now start to roll that a little bit tighter, so squash and roll as you go. At the moment, I'm not squeezing air out the end, I'm just squeezing air to one end of the mat. We keep going all the way, and eventually you'll start to hear the air. There we go. So now this end of the mat is tight. You can hear the air pushing out. So we're now squashing air out the mat there. The longer you sit on this, the more air squashes out. Now once again at this point, we may fit this back in the bag. We'll have a go. What I might do is put this in. I'm going to leave the valve like that, roll that up, and we'll see if the bag is actually going to go over the mat. which in this case it will. So 2 rolls and that will just fit. It's a little bit of space, but what I want to do is roll it a 3rd time to show you how you can make it really compact. So follow the process again, unroll it. You can just leave that done up and undo it at the end if you like. Start from the end again and roll it tighter again. Keep kneeling both knees if you can. Roll it really tight. You can see the air pushing into this other end of the mat now. At some point here we'll start to see it. So you can see if I just come to the end here now, we can see that's now tight again. So if I undo this valve, roll it all the way, we've now squashed even more air out. Roll it back and pop the valve on straight away, because even though it's not letting air in, it will let it in slowly. That seals it off completely. Now that is going to go back in the bag really easily. If we've got a strap that came with the bag, now would be the time just to put it around here to hold it all in place. But we put that back in the bag, do up the end, and that is how you pack up a self-inflating mat back into its bag. Some of these bags are a little bit different. Expert have a top loading bag. This is kind of your traditional end loading bag. This is actually the right bag for this. It's actually designed for a smaller mat. So I've managed to get a bigger mat in a smaller bag. It's just a little bit short on length, but it went back in there pretty easily. It's the same concept for any self-inflating mat. You could even use it for just a foam mat, except you've got to move fairly quickly as the mat starts to puff back up. But most relevant where you can seal that valve off at the end so you don't let the air come back in, roll it 2 or 3 times and you'll get it back in the bag nice and easy. So you can check out a whole heap of camp mats at snowies.com.au, where you find them at our lowest prices every day. If you've got any questions on how I pack this up, let us know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel for all of our latest and greatest information, or check out some other camp mats like these ones down here.